Welcome to Career in Ruins,
where this week we're at the Scottish Crannog Centre.
Welcome to Career in Ruins.
This week we're doing a special podcast with the Council for British Archaeology.
This place is spectacular and it's a fitting start to one of my favourite fortnights of the year, the Festival of Archaeology, and my word have they done it with a bang.
There's so much going on, there's stands all over the place, and we're going to spend a day wandering around, taking part, chatting to all the exhibitors and just generally seeing what's going on the day.
I guess we should start by explaining what the Scottish Crannog Centre is and what we can see around us. So we're stood in the middle of a largish area with a beautiful new visitor centre and coffee shop, wood-cladded, but on the outside of it, once you pass the car park, once you pass the visitor centre, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 spectacular, maybe even a fifth, roundhouses built in different constructions. So you've got timber posts holding up thatched roofs. What the centre have done is bring together a whole host of experts and specialists to share the joys of Iron Age Scotland and the crannogs that are so prolific in this area.
That's right, and the site itself takes its name from a crannog, which is essentially a roundhouse built on an artificial island in a loch. And I can't wait, for example, to sit in a roundhouse around a fire and listen to someone tell me a story.
That's it. So what are we going to do for the rest of this podcast, Derek?
Well, first of all, we need to catch up with the folks from the CBA and hear all about what we're doing here and why we're here. Then I'd love to chat to the blacksmith. Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I might try my hand at a bit of smithing so you can give me a score maybe.
And I've heard rumour of a local trout stew being cooked in an Iron Age style.
I do like a trout stew. But yeah, try the food, try the metalworking, a bit of woodworking, maybe learn how to make a dry stone wall as well.
Sounds like a good day out.
And I have spotted Rackshar Dave around as well, so she's going to be here opening the festival and launching the new awards that will be coming out soon on the CBA website. So hopefully we'll get a chat with her as well.
First up, it's a chat with Neil Redfern, the Executive Director of the Council for British Archaeology, and he told us what was on offer over the weekend.
The festival theme this year is archaeology and community. I have to say I think the Crannog Centre is just the most perfect place to come to for that, because the sense of community here is just amazing. In 2021, the original Crannog that was on the far side of the loch burnt down, and the whole raison d'etre for this place went up in smoke in 6 minutes. And what they have done in rebuilding the visitor attraction and effectively building from scratch an Iron Age village. And the biggest conversation we've had here is how each house is now starting to get its own character. People are putting up little decorations, they're putting little additions of their own. It's evolving already and it's creating its own conversations. And I think that's a lovely way to view archaeology. Archaeology isn't about the answers, it's about the conversations that evolve from the material and things we encounter.
What do the next 2 weeks hold, Neil? What can people look out for?
There are just a whole host of places you can go to, talks you can listen to, guided walks you can go on, and then of course there's all of the festival resources on the website as well, where there's activities for kids, loads of past presentations and activities you can actually watch. So it's a bumper year this year, which is really fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to myself spending the next 2 weeks just flying around the UK going to look at stuff.
And if you want to find out more about what the CBA are up to, then take a look at their website archaeologyuk.org. Next, we decided to wander into one of the roundhouses to have a go at wood turning.
Toby. I'm here at the centre doing an apprenticeship, doing a green woodworking apprenticeship. So learning a bit all the vernacular ways of crafting and making wooden artefacts. Currently I'm working on the pole lathe over here. I've definitely found a passion in the pole lathe in general. It definitely sparked out my passion for woodworking as I say in general, but specifically today currently I'm preparing a blank for the customers to be able to use. So this one's not actually going to be turning into anything, but when the customers aren't using the lathe, I'm going to be making a little cup or a container sort of a thing. So I've got that started out just here. You can see I've kind of shaped the outside of this little container, and then the next step is to come from this side and start to actually hollow out the inside of the container as well. So fingers crossed, touch wood, we'll have something by the end of the day, hopefully.
Fantastic. And in archaeology, wood's one of those things we don't tend to see an awful lot of. So to see it coming to life like this is fantastic. But what do you have to go on in terms of making stuff in a kind of Iron Age style?
Well, we didn't find too much evidence here at the centre specifically. We only found a waster, as it's called, basically this end bit with the hole chopped off. So we know they're turning wood of a description. We don't know exactly what they're making. We don't know what what lathe they're using, what tools they're using. We just don't know. But we do know they're turning wood, as I say, of a description. So that's something to go off of. Again, that's a general starting point. But then again, we don't know exactly what they were making. So we're just kind of doing a generalised kind of these are the things they could have been making essentially.
Now you've got a lot of customers coming, but would you mind if I have a very quick go?
Oh, perfect! Okay? Yeah, no film on the free of course.
So talk me through what I need to do here.
So I personally prefer to use my left leg on the foot pedal there. Round a bit in the middle as you're doing there.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredibly satisfying. So how long have you been lathing?
Maybe 2.5, 3 years, something like that. I've not made the most amount of things, but I hope I've upskilled in that time, hopefully.
Oh, when it cuts, it really feels good, doesn't it?
As an amateur lather, how's Derek done just there?
Oh no, I've never seen someone pick it up quite so quickly. You were, even from the get-go, you were cutting some wood, but then right at the end there, you're getting these nice, lovely long bits of wood, which is amazing.
So out of 5?
4.5.
4.5. I'll take that. I'll take that.
So it's quietened down a bit here at the launch event, and we've been joined by Rachel Backshaw, who is one of the centre managers. And,
hello.
Who is one of the many people who've been working very hard to create this fantastic site, and I'm hoping will be able to give us a bit of a chronology as to how you got to where you are today with regards to the site.
We became a museum in 2017. We got museum accreditation. So before then, the museum was a visitor centre. And then I think 2019 we had like our record year. It was the best year we ever had. Then 2020 we had COVID. So it was obviously like the worst year ever. So then we sped up the plans to launch an apprenticeship scheme. So we set up a scheme for 5 young people from the local area, and then they started here in the August. So as soon as we could open to the public, then they started. So they began, so they did their first year. Then 2/3 through their first year, we had the fire, the reconstructed Crannog, so that burnt to the ground.
Wow.
So everything that the museum was built around kind of all of a sudden it was gone. Yeah, so it's a bit like, like the Discovery burning down, and then all of a sudden you have a museum about a boat, but the boat's not there. We got a phone call from the local Loch Tay lodges, and they said they'd set up a Just Giving page for us, and then I think within 3 weeks or something like that, it had raised £50,000.
Wow.
And that's just people giving like fivers and stuff, so that was amazing. The long story short with all of that is that there was a resilience to the work before the fire, and there was a kind of way of work and an attitude and a love and a care and a community that was there, that was existing. And that has changed over the past 3 years, because since the fire it's been very, very hard work. There has been like people who have found it difficult, like that's normal because you're just going through such a big thing. But I think as a community it's pulled together, and we've got like now a fantastic Iron Age village.
It is like a phoenix out of a fire, quite literally out of the fire, a devastating event that you've seemed to have come away. Obviously you wouldn't have wanted to see that burn down, but what you've come away with is something so much better? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it should be.
That beautiful music was being played in another one of the roundhouses, and when combined with the Gaelic prayer being chanted, I have to confess I did well up a little bit. As the fire crackled nearby, we wandered in to find out more about the ancient stories being told. It's very smoky in here. Genuinely didn't expect someone to bring me to tears first thing this morning, so it's definitely the smoke. Definitely the smoke. It's just I spend my life researching Iron Age stuff, and it's always so silent. And to be in this space and hear sounds, it adds a dimension to it that I rarely get to experience. So thank you for that.
I'd lived in Africa for a while. I'd sat with people who were from semi-nomadic peoples. I'd sat with them and listening to their timeless stories. When the Crannog was created, it was like sitting in one of their round huts. They lived 6 months of the year down by the riverbed and 6 months of the year up in the hills with their cattle and sheep. So they were doing exactly the same here until a few hundred years ago.
And there's something so social about the round structure, isn't there? Everyone facing inwards, everyone equal in a way.
And that inspired the storyteller in me, to sit round the fire in a circle and gather people and have that space where the story could come alive. There's a spirit in the ember of the fire, which is called the Gruaga Solace. So it's a fire spirit which holds the ember of inspiration, a spark of inspiration where the story can manifest.
When people think of archaeology, they might think of Time Team, they might think of dusty old trenches and books, but archaeology can be much more than that.
Absolutely. The cultural heritage, the living history that's around us is spectacular, and it's about immersing yourself and understanding that our entire environment in Britain is constructed by human interactions, and there's nothing better than this experience today of joining everyone at the Scottish Crannog Centre to really immerse ourselves in that.
So this will be a replica of a cloak pin from Inverness, from Coduthl, an Iron Age site, ironworking site.
Tom, I've joined you in, what's this, I guess, is this a smith?
The forge, yeah,
the forge,
absolutely,
okay.
yeah. I'm a professional bladesmith and blacksmith, so that means I use a forge to heat up metal and shape it using a hammer and an anvil into almost anything. It's just that I happen to specialise in making bladed tools, knives, cutlery and tableware as well.
So modern day smithing compared to an Iron Age environment that we're in right now must be quite different, I assume.
They can look worlds apart, but the core principles are still the same. I mean, heating up metal and hitting it with a hammer hasn't changed since we started doing it. It's just in a modern forge you have things like welders, grinders, belt sanders, power tools that, again, they are just taking techniques that were done for hundreds, if not thousands of years, we're just mechanising it to speed it up.
Okay.
The big issue is, for the archaeology side of things, nothing really ever survives, so we have to draw on other sources to create what we believe would be an Iron Age forge. Okay. So in this case, for the forge itself, the hearth itself, I've looked at Sudanese blacksmiths, where they are forging still things like swords and tools and equipment in this manner, and hasn't changed for 1500 years there. The bellows themselves, this is the really, perhaps the most important thing. But the bellows are the real key, and we just don't know what they look like. And there's all sorts of theories, but keeping in the same mind, I've actually looked at Ethiopian blacksmiths on this side.
Right.
Where they use clay pots or hollowed out wooden logs with a sleeve of leather on top.
Right.
Incredibly simple technology, but incredibly efficient. You're blasting your air into the hearth. It's a different kind of fire though. We're not building a huge fire and getting a massive core. We're trying to keep everything as close together, insulated, and really, really, really high temperature at the centre.
Focused
Absolutely.
high temperature. Okay.
And by doing that, we can control not only how hot we get the metal, but where we get the metal hot.
This is all about turning that raw material that's been extracted, so the iron that's been extracted from the raw material, that's the bloomery process. Now it's about turning it into a meaningful object.
Absolutely.
And so what the tools that you've got here, are these based on known Iron Age tools that have been found in Scotland?
So a lot of the tools that I'm using either come from southern Britain. So these tongs, for example, they're replicas of ones from Danebury Hill Fort.
Okay, wow.
And then my hammer, which I'm using, is a replica form from Bilberry Hill Fort.
So what are you working on today? You've got your tools that you use to do your smithing, but you're also looking to make things, make tools.
So this site here, I've set this forge to be working as a actual functional forge where we're producing items to be used on site. So we're using our bellows. Actually, if you want to pump the bellows for me there, so not too heavy on the push, but you can rise them straight up really high, use the full volume of it, that's it. Absolutely.
Well, you just let the weight of the wood...
you do push them down,
okay,
but you just don't blast it out. You look at how the charcoal's going. If the charcoal is kicking out, you know you're doing it too hard. Okay. So you can go a little bit harder and a little bit faster. You're almost kind of like 1, 2, 1, 2. Try and use the whole volume. Up, down, up, down.
Oh blimey, it's fast, okay.
Yeah, so blacksmithing is controlling all of these aspects. We're controlling how the charcoal is sitting in the fire, controlling how the airflow goes in, and where the metal is in that fire. So if I pull the metal out and you stop pumping the bellows, we can now see
how
hot we've got that metal.
That's insane.
So that came out around about a bright orange, so we're talking about 900 degrees, 880.
So what's the plan with this thing? Do we need to get it
Okay, so we'll get that hot again if you want to pump that. So you're constantly assessing what's going on in there. You can see the temperature we're getting. And what I'll do is I'll bring that out and take it to the anvil. So if we're all ready, you can come out. Shape the metal.
From one ancient skill to another now. That's the sound of Lawrence trying to build a dry stone wall.
Is it like a big 3D jigsaw? But
yes, but it's not about there's only one stone that can go there. It's about finding the stone that could go there and making it work.
Okay. So do the stones on the outer will generally have to be the same width?
No. When it comes to width going into the wall, the longer the better.
Okay.
What you want is something that will fit in that shape, and preferably with a nice face that will sort of match that line.
Okay.
Something like that, you know. You might just want to chuck it right in there, and then you've got to get a small one in there. But you know that's necessarily right. Stonework's been used for such a long time. That
not least these Crannogs.
The Crannogs, and even before that, in Britain, I don't know, but you go to ancient Mesopotamia, you've got like the desert kites, which were for hunting kind of things. Basically, early ideas of using walls for the urban and farming revolution kind of thing.
So when you've got dry stone walling, which is purely just using the stone to hold itself, you've got time and thinking about. I come from down south, so we've got a lot of lime that's sort of used to hold walls together, or cement. What's the pros and cons to the different building techniques, or why would you choose dry stone over?
Well, so dry stone, because you wouldn't want to lug all that lime up to it, so the stone's there, and it would have been cleared from fields over time to increase the grazing capacity.
Of course, so it's a nice byproduct when you get your clearance stone.
Exactly.
Start using that.
Sometimes if it's built properly, a dry stone wall can outlast a mortar.
Okay. Less management. Yeah. Okay. Right. I need to find another spot.
Yeah. Keep going.
While Lawrence improves his dry stone walling technique, let's catch up with Jessica Lowther from Headland Archaeology, the primary sponsor of the Festival of Archaeology.
The day has been incredible. We've met some really lovely people. We've had some great conversations. We've got a mystery artifact for people to guess what it is. And we've had a couple of successful
I think Derek's done quite well with that. He got some free headland sunglasses.
Highlight of the day, I can't lie.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
easily pleased. In terms of the festival itself, I know you guys are doing a number of different things, but you've also had some podcasts that you can tell.
Yes, so we've got a special mini-series for the Festival of Archaeology, and it's all about our headland archaeology staff, and it's looking at careers in archaeology, focusing on some of our staff and telling us about what their job role is. So it's quite specific to us, but it talks about how they got into what they're doing, what they love about their job, and it's available on our podcast channel, Headland Arc Pod.
Well, that sounds very pertinent to Career in Ruins, so we should definitely be sending people that way.
It is.
What sort of varying careers might they expect to hear in those?
Well, our first episode went live today for the opening of the festival, and we talked to Jack Warner, who's one of our data officers at Headland. So it's a little bit of a look at someone in our tech services department and how they have worked to create and implement our Headland Archaeology Record Keeper, which is our digital recording system.
Fantastic. Now, with regards to Headland Archaeology, stuff you guys are doing, with regards to your resources beyond podcasts, whether it's during the Festival of Archaeology or outside of it, is there anywhere anyone can go to learn more and engage with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on our socials. You can find us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Facebook, on X, formerly Twitter, and you can also have a look at our website, headlandarchaeology.com.
Fantastic. Well, have a great rest of your day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
My name is Claire Mullen.
Claire, what are you doing here today?
Oh, well, right now I'm about to start doing a little bit of weaving on a very small miniature heddle loom.
A heddle loom? Wow.
Little tiny heddle, which is for making basically straps and belts and things like that.
Oh, wow.
But I spend most of my time here demonstrating either weaving on our larger loom here, a warp weighted loom, or earlier this morning I was dyeing some wool. You can see the results outside there, which are yellow, which I got from birch leaves this morning.
Oh wow, so you're using local ingredients?
Oh, absolutely. You'll end up using a lot of foreign stuff too, but then they probably did in the Iron Age.
Yeah.
So madder wasn't grown here from what I can tell, so chances are that would have been brought in. Yep.
Now I know you're busy on the small loom here, but could you talk me through how the big loom works? I've always been fascinated by these, and I've never known.
I would say it's fiendishly simple.
Fiendishly simple?
Yeah.
So even I could understand.
Absolutely. So you have your warp, which is the bit that goes up and down, or warp and down.
Oh, okay, warp and down, yeah.
And the weft goes weft and right.
Weft and right, okay.
So that helps. To begin with, you'll see here I've got 2 rows of thread.
Yeah.
They're all weighted down with weights at the bottom, hence the warp weighted loom. We've got threads at the front and threads at the back.
Yeah.
The ones at the back are all attached to this piece of wood here, which is called a heddle.
Oh,
If you notice, when I pull the heddle forwards,
oh, I see.
Now all of the back threads are at the front. So then it's just a case of taking this creature here.
What do you call this creature here?
This is called a shuttle.
The shuttle. Ooh.
Or in Aberdeenshire, it's called a skite.
A skite.
A skite, because it skites back and forth.
Ah, okay.
So this then would pass between these, like so. It's just a case of passing your shuttle through and then capturing the yarn in the middle, dropping that, and then watching as those back drop to the back again.
Wow.
That's it. It's a ridiculously simple thing. Modern looms work on exactly the same principle, still using heddles. The loom over there is slightly different. That one is a 2-beam loom. It has 3 heddles. This one has been set up specifically to make what's called a 2-1 twill.
Wow.
It is the same type of weave you'll find in lots of modern wool suiting, but also in your denim.
How long would it take you to make, say, a belt length out of this?
I'm not entirely sure. I have heard that if you're making a 2-metre length of cloth, it would take about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
That's what I've heard, but I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, but it's not a quick process.
Not a quick process.
Fabulous. Well, thank you for talking me through that. I've learned something new today, and I'm really happy about that.
Good.
I'll leave you to it. Thank you. Hey guys, how's the trout stew coming along?
The trout is fantastic. So the barley stew you. I'm going to give you one of them to try.
Could I try one? Lovely.
A wee bit of bread, a little bit of barley and carrot
lovely.
stew. And then that is the poached trout there.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's worked really nicely.
There's so much flavour in that.
Yeah, no, great.
Oh, let's try this tray. I've been looking forward to this.
Most of my kind of ethos was trying to prove that Iron Age food wasn't boring. Making sure that it's tasty and nice and something that people can kind of recognise.
The trout is perfect.
This has just come out of the pot, come off from next to the fire. That's all the bread there. And then basically all I do is I just take it apart to make sure that we haven't got any bones in it. Because that's the thing, cooking it on the bone means that we get lots of lovely flavour, but it does also mean that you end up with a few of the big bones in there. But mercifully, trout has nice big bones, so they're nice and easy to take.
That was truly delightful.
Excellent stuff.
That fish was great. Just before we headed off for the day, we caught up with the President of the Council for British Archaeology, Rakshar Dave.
Rakshar, what an amazing event we've got going on here.
Well, isn't it beautiful? Because like, you walk in and there's just so many people kind of enjoying hanging out by some roundhouses on the edge of Loch Tay. In 2021 it was burnt down and they've managed to rebuild it. And it kind of like echoes, doesn't it, the community that was here in the past on the edge of this loch. And hopefully we'll be able to see like the Crannog spanning over the loch in future years.
Yes, yeah. And with regards to the CBA and your role and everything that's going on with the Festival of Archaeology, talk us through what the plan is for the next fortnight.
So every year we have the CBA team. They work with lots of heritage partners, not just heritage partners, like amazing other like creative people as well, to kind of get a smorgasbord, I would say, of archaeological themed activities to get people really thinking about what archaeology is, what it means to them, but also just to kind of get out and enjoy it as well.
I love this sort of thing, immersing yourself in recreated histories and different hands-on techniques, but that ability to go from digital to analogue to actually getting your hands dirty and digging is just a fantastic festival to have it each year for people to get involved in.
It is, because I think people do just traditionally think of archaeology as digging, but it isn't. It's everything.
In terms of the Council of British Archaeology, I understand there's an awards that's just opened up today.
Yes, so it's the Archaeological Achievement Award. This year the award ceremony is in Cardiff.
If people are thinking about people they interact with or projects that they've been involved with, what might be the catalyst for them to think about nominating someone?
Well, it was quite interesting last year. There was quite a couple of our winners were community projects that have been happening. One was by Hadrian's Wall, actually, and it's a project that's been running for a really long time. It engaged so many people. They'd actually have different layers to this project where, you know, it was like an annual thing, but they managed to get apprenticeships in and different people engaging. So over time this project's just grown and grown and grown. And obviously it deserved an award. It was just like very multi-layered and really interesting.
Excellent. Oh, that sounds great. And we'd recommend everyone to check out the CBA website and put your nominations forward. So what does the rest of the launch event hold for you? I understand there's a swim involved. Yesterday
I swam in Loch Venator. It's not that bad. It was quite warm. You just have to get in there and chuck yourself in.
I'm not sure that's true.
I say when one of us falls in later, find out.
A whiskey might help.
Okay.
That might warm you up.
Good to love it. Actually, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And that's it from a very special edition of Career in Ruins. Thank you to all of our guests, the Council for British Archaeology, and everyone at the Crannog Centre that made our stay so enjoyable. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with another episode of Career in Ruins very soon.